Look closely at this glowing giant eye staring from the Nevada desert because it is the most expensive and most controversial structure in the history of human entertainment today. You are witnessing the Sphere, a massive $2.3 billion architectural wonder that has completely redefined the skyline of Las Vegas and the future of live performances. Standing at 366 feet tall and stretching 516 feet wide, it is officially the largest spherical structure ever built by human hands on this planet. Its exterior is wrapped in 1.22 million programmable LED modules, allowing the building to transform into a basketball, a pumpkin, or even a planet in seconds. However, beneath the brilliant lights and the viral social media videos, there is a dark financial reality that has left investors and construction companies screaming in absolute frustration. This glittering ball of technology has been bleeding money since before the lights were even turned on, accumulating over $1.18 billion in total losses. In its very first year of operation alone, the company reported losing $500 million while carrying a staggering debt load of over $1.5 billion. Behind this chaotic masterpiece is a man named James Dolan, a billionaire owner of major sports teams who many people consider to be the single worst owner in sports. He bet everything on this impossible dream, firing executives and facing massive lawsuits from contractors who claim they were never paid for their hard work on this monumental project. Why would anyone spend $2,300 million on a giant ball that loses money every single day? And what secret technology is hidden inside those walls? Tonight, we are going deep inside the most technologically advanced space ever created to discover if this is the future of humanity or just a very expensive monument. Prepare yourself as we peel back the layers of the Sphere to understand how a building that shouldn't exist became the most famous landmark in the entire world. From the world's largest LED screen to sound systems that can target a single person, the engineering here is a miracle. But the business side is a nightmare. Every single detail of this structure was designed to blow your mind and empty your wallet, creating an experience so intense that your brain might stop processing. This is the incredible story of the Las Vegas Sphere, a high-stakes gamble in the desert where the technology is revolutionary but the financial cost is impossible. Stay with us until the end, because the secrets of James Dolan and his global plan for more spheres will change everything you thought about the entertainment industry. To understand why this $2.3 billion ball exists, we must first understand the mind of the man who decided to build it against all common sense. James Dolan is not your typical tech visionary, as he is primarily known for running Madison Square Garden and owning the New York Knicks and the Rangers. Under his leadership, these legendary franchises have only won 2 championships in 50 years, leading many passionate fans to call him the worst owner in professional sports. Dolan is infamous for using facial recognition cameras to ban his enemies and suing loyal fans who dare to hold up protest signs during his basketball games. This is the same man who decided in 2015 that he wanted to create a venue that would make every other concert hall on Earth feel completely obsolete. The project began with an original cost estimate of $1.2 billion, but the numbers quickly spiraled out of control as the vision became a massive obsession. As the budget climbed toward $2 billion, Dolan reportedly became increasingly involved in every minor detail, leading to chaotic delays and the firing of top project managers. One famous story involves the construction of the world's longest bar inside the Sphere, which Dolan ordered to be completely destroyed and removed after he walked through it once. This build-it-then-delete-it mentality contributed to the massive cost overruns, causing the final price tag to reach an astronomical $2,300 million. Construction companies like AECOM's Hunt Group were eventually terminated and filed lawsuits, seeking $7.1 million in unpaid fees for their work on the project. Lawyers described the Sphere as Dolan's personal pet project, claiming he was critically involved in stopping payments to everyone who helped build his glittering desert dream. Even his own chief financial officer, Gautam Ranji, quit the company after the chief executive officer reportedly screamed at him during a high-pressure meeting about mounting losses. Investors were so furious that Dolan had to settle lawsuits for $133.5 million after being accused of misleading them about rising costs. Despite the legal battles and the mountain of debt, Dolan refused to stop, believing that his revolutionary sphere would eventually prove all of his many critics wrong. He was not just building a theater, he was building a monument to his own legacy, even if it meant risking the entire financial future of his corporate empire. As the lights finally flickered on in late 2023, the world saw the miracle, but only a few people knew about the deep scars left behind by Dolan. This was the ultimate high-stakes gamble, where a single man's ego pushed technology to the limit while pushing his bank accounts toward a total and complete collapse. Now that we understand the chaos behind the creator, we must look at the actual engineering that makes this impossible structure function in the middle of the desert. Is it possible for a masterpiece born from such toxicity to actually succeed? Or is the foundation of this sphere built on nothing but broken promises and debt? Forget the financial drama for a moment, because beneath the lawsuits and debt lies a legitimate engineering masterpiece that has pushed the boundaries of what humans can actually build. Let us start with the exosphere, a massive digital skin covered in approximately 1.22 million individually programmable LED pucks that transform this building into a living entity. Each of these light modules is capable of displaying millions of colors, making the sphere visible from across the entire Las Vegas Valley and even from outer space today. Once you step inside, the experience becomes even more insane as you are greeted by an interior LED screen that covers 160,000 square feet of space. This massive display wraps 270 degrees around the audience at a resolution of 16K by 16K pixels, which is enough to fill your entire vision. When you sit in one of the 17,600 seats, your brain stops processing the screen as a display and starts experiencing it as a real place. The audio system is equally revolutionary, utilizing 167,000 individual speaker drivers arranged in a sophisticated beamforming array that directs sound with surgical precision to every seat. This technology is so advanced that two people sitting next to each other can theoretically hear completely different audio tracks or even different languages without any overlapping sound. To make the experience fully immersive, each seat features haptic motors that vibrate in perfect synchronization with the visual content, allowing you to feel every explosion and every beat. The building also includes environmental effects like artificial wind blowing across your skin, scent delivery systems, and temperature manipulation to transport you to any corner of the Earth. Creating content for this space required the invention of a proprietary camera system called Big Sky, designed specifically to capture footage at this unprecedented resolution and field of view. Filmmaker Darren Aronofsky used this technology to create Postcard from Earth, a film that demonstrated that a completely new form of storytelling and human experience was finally possible. It took 5 long years of construction and 35 nationalities of workers to solve engineering problems that no human being had ever encountered or solved before in history. When U2 opened the venue in September 2023, critics who arrived with skepticism walked out completely converted, claiming they had just witnessed the future of live music. However, even though the technology is a miracle and the experience is transcendent, it cannot hide the fact that the money simply does not work for this project. As we move into the next part of this story, we will discover the crushing operating costs that are threatening to turn this miracle into a giant glass tomb. The sphere might be an engineering miracle, but the financial reality behind those million LED lights is a dark and terrifying hole that threatens to swallow everything today. Despite ranking as the highest-grossing venue in the world today, the project posted more than $500 million in operating losses during its very first year of existence. By the end of 2024, total operating losses had exceeded $1.18 billion, proving that being popular does not always mean being profitable in Vegas. To keep the lights on, the company is carrying a massive debt load of $1.5 billion, with interest payments that could crush any normal business empire every single day. The costs of running 1.22 million LED panels and maintaining 17,000 seats are staggering, requiring an army of 3,000 employees to manage. Even after selling over 2 million tickets for the Wizard of Oz experience and generating $260 million, the revenue still fails to cover the massive construction debt. The electricity bill alone for a building of this scale is absolutely astronomical, as it draws enough power to light up thousands of homes across the Nevada Desert Valley. Adding to the pain, the initial hype is starting to cool off, as ticket prices for the signature experience dropped from $119 to only $99. Revenue recently dipped by nearly 2% in the final quarter of 2024, indicating that the novelty of the world's largest ball might be wearing off for tourists. James Dolan has compared this first year to making the first pancake, admitting that they did not know exactly how to run, sell, or program it when they started. But the most dangerous threat comes from MSG Networks, the sports television business that is losing millions as people across America cancel their expensive cable television subscriptions. If this failing television business cannot refinance its debt, the company warned it might seek bankruptcy protection, potentially dragging the revolutionary sphere down into the abyss. This creates a terrifying situation where one of the most innovative businesses in history is being anchored by a dying technology that belongs to the previous century of entertainment. It is the ultimate irony that a building designed to show us the future is being strangled by the financial ghosts of the past and a mountain of unpaid bills. Investors are now asking if the Sphere is a sustainable business or just a beautiful fire that will burn bright for a short time before going dark forever. With debt mounting and the novelty fading, Dolan has only one radical plan left to save his empire, a plan that involves doubling down on this billion-dollar bet. Can you really solve a billion-dollar problem by building more of the same expensive structures that caused the problem in the first place? Or is this total madness? In the final chapter of this story, we will see how Dolan plans to conquer the world with a network of spheres from Abu Dhabi to Tokyo. Faced with a massive $1.5 billion debt, James Dolan has decided that the only way to save the sphere is to make it a global brand immediately. His plan is remarkably simple and involves building identical or smaller versions of this expensive ball in major cities like Abu Dhabi, London, Tokyo, and even near Washington. In October 2024, it was confirmed that the Department of Culture and Tourism in Abu Dhabi will fully fund the construction of the second massive sphere on this planet. This is a brilliant strategic shift because Sphere Entertainment will collect massive licensing fees and content royalties without spending a single dollar on the actual construction costs themselves. By spreading the development costs of their proprietary 16K camera technology and immersive content across many locations, the company hopes to finally reach a point of profitability. Smaller versions with approximately 6,000 seats are already being designed for cities that cannot support the massive scale of the original $2,300 million Las Vegas structure. Dolan believes that the first sphere in Las Vegas was merely the first pancake in his journey, meaning the version where you learn from all the messy and expensive mistakes. If the second and third spheres can be built faster and cheaper using the same technology, the entire network could become a revolutionary goldmine for the entertainment industry. However, the ultimate question remains whether the original location in the desert can actually survive long enough for these global franchise payments to start arriving in their bank accounts. You cannot simply franchise your way out of a billion-dollar disaster if your flagship store is still burning through millions of dollars of cash every single month of operation. There is a poetic irony here, because the Sphere is genuinely revolutionary, and every artist or fan who experiences it says it is the greatest show on the entire earth. It has already changed what audiences expect from live entertainment, making every other stadium and arena in the world look like a boring relic from the distant and primitive past. We must ask ourselves if some human achievements are worth more than their financial cost, much like the Sydney Opera House, which went 1,400% over its original budget. The Concorde was a technological miracle but a financial disaster, and the International Space Station loses money every year, yet they are considered essential milestones for our entire human civilization. Is James Dolan a madman who wasted billions, or a misunderstood pioneer who had the courage to build the future when everyone else was too afraid to even try it? If you had $2,300 million, would you bet on this revolutionary future, Or would you keep your money and watch someone else take the massive risk? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below, because the second sphere is coming soon, and the stakes for the future of entertainment have never been higher than right now.